Well, hi, and as I promised just before the break, we're here in this lovely scenic poolside location with Bradley Hayward from currently Toronto, who's going to be adjudicating the Region Number 2 Drama Festival. Bradley, welcome back home.
Thank you for having me. It's excellent to be here back in the homeland, and I always enjoy coming back here every year.
And it's really interesting. We have you and a guy from Moose Jaw, Bill Shires, who lives in Florida, and he comes back to adjudicate, and you come from Toronto to adjudicate, because you have gone through the process. You were an actor and in the festival when you were in high school, and that's when I first got to meet you. So let's tell a story about how you got to be where you are today from where you were back. 19 something.
Mid-90s, I don't know. Saskatchewan drama has always been an inspiration to me. When I was 13, I think, I did my first drama festival, and I felt like it was a place where I fit in and I was embraced for being me, and it was great through high school. It was where I wanted to be all the time, and when I graduated, I still felt the same way. But I would do festivals every year, and that is indeed how we met. You adjudicated me.
The Man in the Balcony.
That's right. And it was great. I mean, you were an inspiration to me, big time. Made me feel like I could be the best I could be. So, and it's interesting because I believe the play that you adjudicated went on to provincials, and I think it performed here at Peacock. So it's the first time I've been back to Peacock since '97, I think. So
Little changes, but the seats are the same and the stage is the same. Lights are different, sounds different. So I think you'll feel at home. That'd be like 95, I think, or 96, one of the two. Yeah. And after high school, you went on to a career that's led you to writing.
Indeed, I at first wanted to be an actor, and it wasn't where I wanted to be professionally, so I decided to go to screenwriting school. I thought I'd write for the movies and TV, and again, so I moved out to LA and gave that a whirl. Again, didn't like the business side of it there, but I suddenly decided, well, what inspired me, and it was high school theater and educational theater, so I started writing plays for high schools, and finally got one published, and from there it's just been upwards and onwards. And
how many plays do you have published? I always try to count. How many?
This most recent one I just had published, called Selfie, was my 57th. So, and
you've been able to give up your day job.
I have been able to give up my day job, and now my day job is spent finding inspiration, and I love getting up at the crack of dawn and writing until mid-afternoon, having a little nap, and then living.
Then go curling.
Oh my God. That finally ended. Well, not finally, I'll miss it, but it'll give me more time to focus on something else. It's a bit of an obsession in the winter.
I know your Facebook page is always filled with comments about curling and the
TSN or something like that.
So you've written 57 plays, and they said the last one is Selfie, which is certainly a current topic based on the cell phone self-taking picture idea.
It's fantastic. Throughout the years, I've been going to schools, and when the students will friend me on Facebook, I will accept their friend request, and then I kind of have them in a group where I can follow what they're doing, and that's how I get a lot of inspiration for my plays, is I see what they're talking about. And I noticed in the last couple of years, it was selfie generation, and so I decided best write a play about it, and I'm really proud of it and excited that it is being performed in Region 1 Festival next weekend. So
that's your home region.
That's my home region, and Carlisle's been good to me. They've done my plays. I think this is the 9th of mine they've done for festivals. So.
And it's a really exciting process to go through. Last year you went to Carrot River, and they did your play as well.
They did.
And you were adjudicating.
I went up there, and they were doing my play, and then I was not adjudicating, but I did workshop it with them. Yeah. And then the week after they performed, and they won the region, and I got to see it a second time in Regina, and that evening was just a really fantastic evening.
Now you came to you've come back many years doing workshops, and more recent years doing adjudication. What is it about adjudication that you like that draws you to it?
I love adjudication. It's kind of become the main focus of my past year or two. Because when I see a production, I always have a million questions. I wish I could ask the cast. I wish I could ask the director. And by adjudicating, I get the opportunity and I get the audience because they want to be asked these questions. Although a lot of them think I'm going to come in and tell them exactly what they did right or wrong, but exactly. But my adjudications are mostly questions, and I love to hear, their reasonings behind why they did this and why they did that. And in the process, I can impart my information, but I can also learn from them based on their decisions. Because I always say everything that you do in a play, from your shoes to is a decision. And sometimes they don't know they're making these decisions, and other times they do. So I always want to know what was deliberate, what were happy accidents.
And you're having 8 plays here, I think?
8 plays this weekend, yes.
And there's a variety. There's a couple of original scripts in there, and of course it has an interest to you because it allows someone to share what they think of their lives or perceptions. But also it has, being in a competitive thing, sometimes the script writing is, as we know, is maybe not as tight as it could be.
I was so excited to see a couple of original scripts, and I'm interested to know, again, I'll ask the questions, was it workshopped during the rehearsal process, or did they approach the script as is? And I think it's going to be really great, along with, there's a play in there based on a play written in the 1800s, which The Romancers. Yes. It's a great play.
Which is a musical version of The Fantasticks.
That's right. And I'm thrilled to see that. And I'm also thrilled to see the play Baby. That was the very first festival play I ever saw my school produce. So it has a vague memory in the back of my mind.
And it's directed by Dr. George Falk's daughter.
That'll be great. Yeah. The whole roster of 8 is such a good variety. I think the audience is going to be very pleased and intrigued, and they'll laugh, they'll cry, and
of course there's decisions have to be made about which production goes on to the provincials, and there's a set of guidelines and for people to choose. So if people know what they're supposed to do, then it becomes easy. But if they don't necessarily look at what the rules are, it may not be as they might have thought they did better than they did or not. That happens, sadly.
And that's the hard part is, going through the criteria, and it's sometimes very technical, and you go through the list because you don't want to disappoint anyone, because it's a celebration of, all their hard work over the past several months. And so I try to be an encouraging voice, but then also the job is to select one that will best represent the region, and the other schools will get behind that play and support it as it moves on to Regina.
Yeah, and the provincial festival, of course, is being held the first part of May, and you'll be back, will you, to do your workshops with the string?
I'll be back again with the string. We'll see. Might have some new tricks up my sleeve this year.
Now, what do you do? You're saying year-round you get to write, but you do go to other festivals? You go to schools and things like that too?
Yes. Lately, if I have a new script with Facebook, it's very nice. I can post it online. I have a brand new play. Would anyone like to workshop it? Be the very first world premiere production. And I usually get quite a lot of bites. And if they can find it in their budget, they'll send for me. And I will go out to the schools and we'll workshop together. Although this past year has been great, I've been going in and writing collectives with the students, and that material is all written by them. So that's not the plays that I'm getting published, but I'm helping guide them as creative voices, and that actually has been almost more fun than writing myself. But then I come home from those and I think, oh, now I have inspired to write something new, and you can just one word or one sentence that you'll hear will set off an idea for me. I know my most popular play last year and this year now is I Don't Want to Talk About It, and I just heard a student say,
let's talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Yes, I'm always happy to talk about I Don't Want to Talk About It. I'm really proud of that play. It's non-linear, very easy to produce but difficult to produce, and it's all about teenagers not being able to talk about XYZ. And the response I've gotten worldwide now has been moving, and it keeps me going when I get an email from a student who says, I was never able to admit this about myself, but now I'm talking to someone, or it was nice to hear what I was going through up on the stage. And it all came from a student who said, no, I don't want to talk about it, but I could tell there was something on that student's mind that they did want to talk about. And so I got to thinking, what might it have been? And it led to this collection of almost 50 characters, and just you get little snippets into their lives and what they don't want to talk about.
So, and of course that's been done in festivals around, and people get to share that experience as an audience member. They get to see that thought, and also as a participant in a cast or a crew, they get that inner insight. It's a really, theater's a wonderful thing to do, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. It's a community, and it's now that I can connect with people who are producing my plays, it's a worldwide community. There's places in India, a school that loves to do my work in India, and I'm not sure why they're so drawn toward these Western plays. I don't know if they do other authors from Canada or the United States, but it's been just interesting. And I'll get emails from Great Britain, and they're wondering, can we change, the slang and the. Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of interesting to, what is a Twinkie? And I'm like, oh, well, have you heard of a Fig Newton? Oh, of course we've heard of a Fig Newton. So.
Well, wonderful. Well, Brad, thanks for taking time before the festival starts for us to come and have a chat. I'm telling Greg, our cameraman, who also was a festival participant when he was in high school.
That's great.
Yeah, and that you're a very interesting young man, and I thought it would be really a good special opportunity to have people get to see you. And if you get to watch the show before the festival's over, don't be afraid to go up and say, "Hi, Brad, we saw you on TV."
Oh, definitely. I love people just as much as I love asking questions. Come up and ask me questions, and I'm always willing and able to stick around and talk to people. That's why I do it, is to meet people, and it's what the theater's about.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, and that wraps up our show today. And I hope that you found it entertaining and informative, and we look forward to seeing you again soon on Moose Jaw this week.